So, New Year arrived and we're meant to have these brand new lives, brand new habits, brand new goals, brand new routines, and everything lovely in our house, kids organised, work going smoothly. But if you're like me and you are also a perfectionist mum, you may find that pretty quickly all this crumbles and falls apart. Setting New Year goals can be really fun and really enjoyable for people like us, but actually following through with the goals can be a lot harder. So today in this video, I wanted to talk about how we can plan those goals and actually make them easier to follow through so we actually feel accomplished this year. Hi, I'm Rhianna. I'm a coach who helps perfectionist mums to navigate the huge lifestyle change that motherhood brings and the changes in identity that come with that. And I do that through supporting you with goal setting and creating systems in your life so you and your family can live a happier, calmer life. So most goal setting advice out there is generally for people that aren't mums, that don't have 20 million things going on, especially if you're the default mum as well. And a lot of the scientific studies that you hear out there are based on men and their lifestyles and the way that traditionally men work outside the home but don't necessarily always do as much in the home, which maybe back in the 50s, maybe that was much easier in how things used to be, but that's not really the case anymore, is it? Today, we have so much pressure on ourselves, not only to do all these things, to try and look after our family, keep up the house, have either a business or a job or whatever it is, hobbies you might want to do, but we also have this added pressure that social media gives us to compare ourselves to others, and it just makes life a lot more stressful than perhaps back in the day when people were quite happy with what they had and you didn't have all this outside pressure making you feel like you're not enough or you're not doing enough for your kids. So a lot of this advice doesn't take into account the fact that you have to do the school run, you have to do things like making sure the football kits are clean, you have to go pick up presents for your teachers at this time of year. Your kids are off sick because there's 20 million germs going around at the moment. So the day you had planned ready to do goal work, it's just disappeared and you've lost that time. This also really encourages our perfectionism to rise and get that all or nothing feeling, which we really need to try and avoid, which is easier said than done, isn't it? But it's so much easier just to make our goals and when it's not going right, just to throw in the towel and think, this just isn't for me at the moment. I need to focus on other things, which is completely within your right. But I've got a plan today and I want to show you how it is possible to work on those goals in tiny little chunks while still fitting in with mum life. So a lot of people start off by thinking about who they want to be, which is great. That's definitely something we should consider. But I want to encourage you to start by looking at who you are right now. What is the season of life you're currently in? Do you have very small children who take up a lot of your time and need you a lot? Or do you have perhaps older children who are in school and you might have a little bit more free time? Perhaps you can have an hour here or there at the weekend while they play games. It depends what season of life you're in, and that is going to make a huge difference on how much time you can spend on your goals and what goals are realistic for the moment. Another thing to think of is how much support you have at the moment, be that a partner in the house, be that your parents, any family, childcare, that kind of thing. It's really important to consider how much time you actually have and how much support you can have from them. Perhaps you can delegate things around the house or other tasks. When your goals reflect your actual current circumstances, you don't just need to try and rely on willpower to get through and actually hit your goals. They'll actually fit with the structure of your life much better. So the key and the thing that I really preach about really is making micro goals. So it's great to make our huge, amazing goals that are things we want to accomplish, but it's mostly important to break that down into smaller pieces. Now, I'm a huge fan of the 12-week year, of doing quarterly planning. So for me, I like to think about what I would like to achieve over the year, big goals, feelings I'd like to have, and then I look at each quarter and break that down further. And now for me, I know that the summer time period is not a great time for me to work on goals because I have both kids at home in the 6 weeks holidays without any childcare. So for me, I can sort of block that time out and be like, I'm not going to work on it then. Or if I do, it's going to be bare minimum. Then for me, when they're in term time, that's so much easier for me to work on. So I'll make sure I'll go through the whole year and look at when is going to be better for me. If you've got like a month with loads of birthdays in, perhaps that's not going to be where you put most of your heavy work. Find a calmer place to put it. So when you're breaking down into micro goals, if a step feels quite big still, then break it down more. It can really be that simple. Perhaps doing something like researching different exercise types might still be too big of a micro goal if you might only have 10 minutes here and there in a certain month. So perhaps we break that down into researching yoga classes, researching kickboxing classes, that kind of thing. So you could really break it down into micro goals. So think about breaking them down into tasks that last about 10 minutes rather than tasks that take an hour, so you're more likely to be able to actually fit them in. Even if you do end up with 2, 3, 4 hours, you can just do a lot of these mini tasks. It doesn't matter if you've already broken them down. It just means you're much more likely to be able to tick off that checklist and feel more accomplished. And therefore, you're going to get the ball rolling and want to continue. Another important thing to think about is not putting too much pressure on yourself to do something every day. And I know for some people that does work, doing one very small task every day. And if it does work for you, that's great. But if not, don't put that pressure on yourself. Some days with kids is absolutely bonkers. And I think if you take a step back and look over a week at a whole, if you're able to make progress across that week, that's great. Don't worry if a whole day goes down the pan, because that doesn't mean you need to throw in your goal. You can still keep going. So your goals haven't been failing you, and you haven't just been failing your goals. It's just the system that we're taught to use that doesn't fit into mum life. When you shift to a planning method that respects your energy, your current levels of time, and your motivation, you're much more likely to achieve your goals and everything changes. If you want more support with your 2026 goal plan, I have a free workbook which is available in the description below, and you're very welcome to download that, and it talks you through making your bigger goals, looking back at last year, what you want to achieve, and then also takes you through that breaking them down process. And by downloading that, you're going to be one of the first ones to hear about my launch, which is very exciting. I'm launching a mini course which is made to fit in with real mums' lives over a short amount of time, called the Calm Mum Blueprint, and I cannot wait to let you know. Thank you again for listening, and I hope this helps you break down your goals a little bit and understand that there is nothing wrong with you. It's the systems that we've been taught. So good luck with your goals and enjoy the new year.